How did you get the most demerits? I mean, that's probably a long story, but tell me a little bit about the most demerits in OCS.
As I recall, 150 demerits got you thrown out of OCS. I received 149, along with a couple of buddies of mine. What had happened was when the incoming class comes into OCS, the senior class then mentors them through their first week, having been in the Navy all of 6 weeks themselves. So we had received a homework assignment, and so you're kind of doing double duty. You're going to school at the same time that you're mentoring the junior class. And so me and two other guys copied each other's assignments because we were under the impression that it was not a graded assignment, that it was just a kind of get it done assignment. So I mean, we copied it verbatim, which the Navy lieutenant who was running the class figured out right away, and so they brought us in, and you know, we had a little mini NJP kind of thing, a non-judicial punishment with the XO of the school, and they were going to throw us out until I made the point that you know, you can't believe that we'd actually be that stupid to copy verbatim and think we're going to get away with it. Clearly, we thought that you know, we were allowed to do that, and so he agreed with that and said, but we were still awfully stupid, and we got 149 demerits, which oddly came with marching hours. You had to march off demerits. So we spent the last 8 weeks of our time at OCS on Saturday mornings doing our marching time. And, you know, by the time it ended up, we were sort of the grizzled old vets, and kids had come in having been punished and have to do 2 hours, and we'd already marched 20, you know, and we were just like, look, you're doing it our way. March over to that tree and we're going to take a break.
And just to be clear, OCS is Officers Candidate School?
Correct. I was actually too young to fully remember that story, but we had this little rabbit hutch with 2 little white rabbits, and for some reason there was a can of green paint, and I thought that rabbits ought to be green, and so I painted them with a paintbrush and latex paint. Then I went into the house to my mother screaming because I was covered with paint, and I was like, boy, she's gonna be really mad when she sees the rabbits. Unfortunately, the rabbits did not make it.
Oh, sorry. And that's why you were sent to the Navy?
If you can paint a rabbit, you can paint a ship.
Your brother nailed your hand somewhere.
No, he nailed me to a workbench.
Well, I need to know why.
I was bothering him. He was babysitting.
Well, how did he do it?
Well, he was babysitting me, and he was building something in the garage, and he's 8 years older than I am. So at this point in time, I'm somewhere around 5, and he's somewhere around 13. And whatever he was trying to do, I was getting in the way of him doing. So he told me to climb up on the new workbench, and I did. And then he said, "Just sit still. This will be fun." And my big brother, I love him. I want to do fun things with him. And he proceeded to nail into my clothing all around the perimeter of my body. So I was held completely still there, nailed to the workbench. And he had an enormous amount of fun with that, and I did an enormous amount of screaming, as I recall. But you've never seen a guy pull nails faster than when my mother's car pulled up into the driveway.
Did your mom ever find out about it?
Yeah, she found out about it, you know, but Mom has always been kind of the opinion that if I'm dumb enough to allow something like that to happen to me, then oh well.
Did she think the same about the oatmeal?
No, I did not have the courage to tell him, my sister. Plus, at that time, I think I was about 13, and it was too embarrassing.
Oh, the oatmeal thing I thought was made up. What's the story of the oatmeal?
The oatmeal, I swam competitively for most of my life. So I would come home from school, and Mom would have a great big bowl of oatmeal or polenta with fish sauce or something, so that I could eat and be ready to go to swim practice 2 hours later. So I was sitting over top of the, as my sister tells the story, there was only about a half inch between the oatmeal and my face. So I was hovering over the bowl eating, and she walked past and just... So I came up with screaming, burning hot oatmeal face.
Oh.
And again, I spent a lot of time in my family getting laughed at. I fell for stuff like that. Like, go ahead, put your foot in the noose. Why, you're going to hoist me into the tree? No, I won't. And there I'd hang while my entire family looked at me and went, dumb.
So would you say that your childhood was early training for the SEAL training?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did it help you with the learn the maxim, never volunteer for anything?
That one I've still not learned. So I may have just learned it.